Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. You know, we are all in moments of confusion and frustration in the recent events that surround COVID-19, coronavirus. We all have concerns about friends, family, loved ones, and where this is going, what measures we have to put in place, and when's it all going to end. So I want to not dwell on the actual virus itself, because there have been many worthy videos and information made available now to help explain these things to people. But what I want to talk about today is how Hashem is in control of all creation, that is continually, every millisecond of every day. He is controlling and renewing creation. It never ends. It's infinite. So we need to confirm that in our mind clearly, that the Commander-in-Chief is Hashem, our one and only true God. And some of us would be in a form of isolation during these difficult times, and that could be because people have decided to go into self-imposed isolation from the point of view of protecting their families. They may have compromised immune systems or underlying respiratory diseases, and so they have decided that to protect themselves and will severely restrict their interaction, physical interaction with the outside world. And some, of course, who unfortunately have contracted this virus are now going to be in required isolation. That means that it's not a choice. They have to go and isolate themselves within their own homes or within hospitals, etc., depending on the severity of the disease of the coronavirus and how it's affecting them. I want to impress upon everyone a sense of calm, and also to take the opportunity of this isolation, be it voluntary or imposed, to make use of that time. It means that because your restrictions are curbed in terms of physical contact, there's so many other things that we can take the opportunity to do during this time. And I want to dwell on that at this stage. So use the time wisely and recognize it as an opportunity. It provides an opportunity for you to take actions, and specifically spiritual activity. Examine your current relationship with Hashem. What is it like? How frequent is that relationship reinforced? Is it on a regular basis, or is it just in times of crisis? Help me, God, And so we need to examine that very honestly and ask yourself this: how long has it been since you've actually spent an hour alone in the presence of Hashem? How long since you've spent an hour with Hashem? And in that time, have you been praising, thanking, repenting for mistakes and errors, requesting his divine intervention? For instance, in sickness, in troubled times, went for the needy, for the nurses, doctors, even the government officials who are dealing with this crisis to the best of their ability and knowledge. Do we ask Hashem to watch over them, to make their decisions wise ones, to protect them from catching the virus or any other illness that may prevail at the time. So it's important we do pray for those things. Hashem wants us to ask for what we need. And right now, particularly, well, all over the world, but in Australia especially, we need help. We need all the help we can get. So what do you do during this time of isolation? Well, we have our telephones, and thankfully we have modern internet technology which enables us to lessen our sense of isolation. So we're always able to phone our friends, check on other loved ones, catch up maybe with an old friend you haven't talked to for a long time. Use this time to make use of it in terms of your family and your community. Keep in touch. Don't just shut down everything. That's not good for you, and it's not good for anyone else. So perhaps we could spend this time also reading Torah. We could be tending our garden if we were able to outside, appreciating all the things in our garden, perhaps catch up on a bit of weeding. I need to. So there are many things that we can fill our day with. But one of the things I would recommend is reading the book of Job. Do you know Job was a Noahide? And I think it's a beautiful story. Everything in the book of Job will resonate with all of us. There'll be something in there that we've all experienced at some stage in our life. The dialogue between Job and his friends, his tugging to and fro with his relationships, and the losses he experienced, the distress he was going through. And I think at this particular time, we would all do well to read the book of Job, not once, but maybe twice, and just let our minds ponder on that message in there. Think about it. Does it align with how you're feeling at times? Is there a hidden message in there for you that you can draw from? The other thing that I would like to actually challenge you all to do is to read the book of Psalms. This is a wonderful book. The book of Psalms, never overlook it. It has a psalm for every time and occasion and person and situation. There's 150 psalms in the entire book of Psalms. So I'm going to challenge you over the next 15 days to read and think about 10 psalms per day, starting from Psalm number 1. You can do it, and it's going to reveal many things to you. How many of you have ever read every psalm from 1 to 150? There's so many hidden treasures in the book of Psalms, so many that we can draw on and apply to our own lives. I think this challenge you need to take up. Also, during this time, thinking about our spiritual health, we need to ask, is there any current behaviour within me that I need to change, that needs attention or rectification, or does it need support? What do I need to improve upon? And the other important thing right now is, have I truly and honestly forgiven people who have wronged me in the past? I might say I forgive them, but we always have reservations. Have you truly, in your heart, forgiven those people who have done you wrong? Because when you truly forgive another, you yourself are forgiven. Hashem looks upon you and forgives you for any transgressions that you have done. So that's something to spend some time thinking about. When I forgive, do I truly forgive, or do I still hang on to something? The other thing to search for during this time is look deeply within. Look deeply within yourself and locate that which is the most difficult and disruptive aspect of your life. I'll say that again. Search within for that you know is the most difficult and disruptive aspect of your life. The hardest thing for you to get around or get over or to deal with. Does that need to be rectified? Does that need to be changed? Do you need to think about how to overcome that? So this is a good time to think clearly about that. And often it is said that the thing we find most difficult to do or to achieve is the very thing that we need to perfect. So now's the time to think about that. Also, during this period of isolation from the physical world we're talking about, focus on that spiritual connection with Hashem. In other words, the health of your soul. I need to, give the soul some more medication, some more spiritual medication. And to do that, I always think it's best to be joyful in accepting everything and all things, because they come from Hashem and they are for our benefit. Now, at times we may not think that, or we may not understand, but all things that we are faced with or have to walk through are a lesson. There is a gift in there that we have to learn and accept. So even the bad times, we need to put on a joyful face and a thought and a prayer and say, okay, Hashem, this has landed in my lap. With your help, I have to deal with this. I have to overcome it. I have to get through it. I have to work on it. I often think that we should more often think in terms of saying to Hashem, show me, Hashem, what I need to do for you, not only today and tomorrow, but always. Show me what you want me to do. Make it clear, make it sink into my head. And I often say to myself, hold my hand, Hashem, I need you to lead. Hold my hand, Hashem, I need you to lead me. The other thing that I think is a very good practice is to practice silence and stillness. How long since you've just sat quietly, stilled your mind and your actions and just sat quietly? And when you do that, when you sit quietly, that is when the glitter of the divine can settle within us. Now just think about that. It's during our quiet, still, contemplative moments that Hashem's divine glitter can finally get through all those layers and settle. And that's where our spiritual growth feeds. We feed from that divine glitter. I would also recommend that when you've watched this video, go and grab a copy of Psalm number 18. I think it's one of the most beautiful Psalms. It's a lengthy one, but there will be some message in that for everyone. And what it is, just very briefly, it's one of King David's prayers or songs, and he's made this in his aging years, so he's had a lot of past experience and things that have happened, and certainly many tribulations that he's gone through. And God's punishment, he's seen that come upon Israel, which has been disturbing and upsetting. But King David always maintains that God's nearness is closest in those dark times. Even when we think God has abandoned us, where is he? He is there. He's there. We're just not looking in the right direction. And so King David says, that like Hashem's lights his lamp within us. And so even when we're not worthy to receive that light, Hashem will still try to light that lamp within us. And we need to be aware of that. So, and we also need to remind ourselves that any achievements we make, any achievements I make in life, any progress, it's all due to Hashem's divine will. It has been his divine light, his divine glitter that I've allowed to come in and feed me spiritually, that has allowed me to do things, to achieve things. I haven't done it by myself. Never. There's always the presence of the divine. So please, in these difficult times, concentrate on allowing God's divine glitter to come down and settle. Sit quietly, contemplate, and allow that to happen. That's the best medicine any of us can hope for. Please take care, and if you've liked this video, click the like button, subscribe, hit the bell to be reminded when there's a new video coming up, and most of all, please take care and God bless you in everything that you do. Bye.